Great.
Yeah. So sure.
What is this?
He helped me do the,
Oxygen.
all this stuff, the floor over here. As you said, it would get quicker.
It will.
I don't have one.
It will. That's my Bronco one there, with my Bronco, so. I don't need that, but I can. So I had to cut, or so I got front edges on here.
You worked the whole weekend?
Labor, this last all, they tried to kill me.
Oh, yeah?
He took time off, so more or less he didn't.
Okay, you ready, Mayor?
You have to get in.
I was born ready. Oh, yeah. I'm assuming everybody else is. Actually, I put up that time.
Okay, on your, if everyone's ready, on your tables tonight, just a basic study session schedule, paper copy, all this will be sent to you electronically as well, except for what I just handed out. Starting a little earlier this year than normal, subject to change as far as the specific topics, but tonight my intention is to just get the wheels rolling on the budget process, we've been thinking about. We always have more to do than we realize. Next Tuesday and Wednesday are pretty much all of David's funds that he manages, special revenue, water, sewer, as well as the general fund items. Police and rec seniors, front office, the following Wednesday, or Tuesday, I should say, on the 20th, Wednesday, sorry. And so we have a meeting on the 19th. Then the last Tuesday of the month is, we'll go over some capital projects in more detail, once you know where the money stands, and wrap up Benjamin Moore Harvest Days, library with Diane, wages and benefits. I had a request to do, we had it for really a couple of years, but the salary benefit survey is on your tables. I did not get, actually I asked Mary to help out, she sent it out to the surrounding communities, I think it was Meade, did not respond, but we took off Milliken because they went over 6,000 population. And these population numbers at the top under each town is based upon upstate Colorado statistics. And I use their website, and it's very easy to maneuver if you ever do upstate Colorado. You can look at every community and their profiles and the breakdown from income to you name it. So communities just above us and just below us form that word 3,000 population category. So this is for a future discussion, but I want to get it out now to you so you can digest it, ask us questions in your leisure. Call Mary or myself. Not everything's apples to apples. LaSalle, for example, they have a deputy clerk and a town clerk, no finance clerk. Lock Bowie, they contract out finance clerk. Kersey has a clerk treasurer, so everything's a little different. So we try to give them what we have as far as our structure, then they give us what they have in comparison. Public Works, same thing. Instead of every individual, we have your director, your foreman, then your starting maintenance, your average maintenance salary for your maintenance people, and then your highest paid maintenance person. That's how I did this year. Same with police. Sergeant, some communities have different rankings. They, the bigger communities typically have 2 sergeants, or they'll have lieutenant. Again, with officers, starting salary, average, and then the highest you can get, or your highest paid officer. Police clerks vary across the board, so is code enforcement and crossing guards. LaSalle and Flatboro are the only 2 that are towns that actually pay for crossing guards.
What do schools do?
There's 2 what Carl Harvey told me is the school pays for the one at the schools, right between Pete Marriage and the middle school. The town pays for the one on the highway. He has the same philosophy as I do. It's too dangerous on the highways. By law, the schools are supposed to, but I can't force them to. But it's still a safety issue. Carl has the same belief in Carl Harvey, and so they split it. Recreation seniors are, we're kind of a dying breed, having our own programs anymore, for special revenue districts or special districts. Kersey, it's a dual role. LaSalle is pretty much a dual role as well, if they have an extra person. I talked to Christie, and we're gonna obviously present a different kind of senior budget to you coming up here in the next few weeks for the senior center. And then benefits. Benefits are across the board. I mean, Kersey, as an example, they just give the employees, pay $1,100 toward whatever. I'm not sure what the plan is, and then what employees pay the difference. Different types of dental, vision, life insurance. There's other types that Mary found that people pay for. And then on that third, and then you have your vacation, your sick, your holiday. I always get questions on how this works, who gets what, how do we compare. And in Platteville, we maxed out at 240 hours of sick time and 200 hours of vacation. You accrue differently based upon your years of service in the employee handbook. But regardless of your level, whether you're a 25-year employee or a 1-year employee, those are your maximum accruals that you get. Once you're maxed out, like me, I'm maxed out on vacation or my sick time, each pay period is zero accumulation until I use it, and then it builds back up to 240. That's how it works. Interesting enough, when we talked to Dacono, when Mary talked to Dacono, this is the last year they're going to do this because they keep losing employees doing this. So they're going to compare it to Thornton, Westminster, and the bigger cities to retain employees. So I just want to get that in front of you to digest and give you a couple weeks to ask questions individually.
I'm sorry, wait, last year they're doing what?
This is the last year Dacona's doing this kind of spreadsheet.
Oh, okay.
Because starting next year, from what Mary found out from their clerk, is they're doing more of the large-scale salary comparison with the bigger cities. They're going to compare themselves with Metro.
Okay. Thank you.
So you have that. We have the study session scheduled, subject to change. Thirdly, I wanted to hand out our improvement plan priority list. This is from the last year. In red, I gave some updates so the board knows what's been going on. Under short-term priorities, our top 4, the senior center, as you will know, will be under construction, will be completed in the spring. The comprehensive look at the sewer lagoon and the building reserves, we keep putting money aside. There's some number totals for you. We still don't have a permit back from the state. We don't know what they're going to require, which kind of puts us in a bind. I did meet with Julie Scroby from the USDA office out of Ray. We've been in Fort Morgan, and also with Don Sandoval talking about specific funding. There are funding options for both those programs for a new sewer plant. Some are easier than others. The downtown revitalization plan. I keep calling Excel every week. I have not heard a response back yet. On the undergrounding, that was step 1 or phase 1 to get the undergrounding done. I did have some meetings with Kathy Schulte from the state of Colorado, and she definitely would like to meet with the board to talk about some different incentive programs that the town and the businesses together can jointly work on to improve our downtown business district. Some tax incentives, some property tax breaks. Buildings, for example, that have been sitting vacant for 2 years qualify as, the terminology is not the best, but it's basically, blighted.
Yeah.
Kind of like urban renewal terminology. And money's out there to improve those facilities. So it'd be a joint workshop with their local businesses. I have been trying to contact as many businesses on Main Street as I can. I still have ways to go. And then a financial policy. I met with, or actually had a conference call with PFM. They're in asset management. They manage the assets for City of Brighton. He sent me some information to review, but he said otherwise, unless you have at least a minimum $25 million cash flow for portfolio, they won't touch it. I told him we're talking about $500,000 to $1 million. He said you just research it yourself and do it on your own. If you want to do like short-term bonds and stuff like that, he said you're just going to have to. If you have an accountant, he said just work with your accountant and do that during your budget. If you have some extra money that you want to get some more revenue, build some more revenue streams on.
I would have to pay attention. Do you know what
ours is paying right now. I just saw, there was just a bond auction. It was 1.94% for a 7-year bond. It was just a Fed bond auction.
The only ones that, the banks that are hard to find with to hold bonds, what was it? Was it Colorado, what's Colorado East? Remember we talked about that? Because for years, the local banks here would not do bonds the way they do LaSalle. Because the library has them,
It's not TBK.
DBK.
Yeah.
That is more of a work in progress. I need to learn some more about that. Our mid-range, just marketing plan. Again, we meet with Kathy Schulte. I think that's something we need to develop to entice business in Platteville. Community garden and economic development. Those are still 2018 projects in my mind. I'm working on them. The long-range priorities, I just haven't touched yet. Now, the infrastructure plan, I'm working with David on doing, and we'll talk about this in budget, a 7-year street rotation on maintenance. And we're at that point where we can actually do that. I'll tell you up front, for example, I'm gonna wanna do in Reed subdivision and part of Shoal, what we just did in Old Town. Do some patching, do some chip sealing. Then we go back to the cycle. Start Bella Vista, along Main, Old Homestead, Rogers Farm. There'll be a cycle involved where we can start budgeting for it. So all of our streets are touched every year, or the streets are kept up.
One thing I think we need to watch in that respect, in Old Town, we need to monitor which blocks are having issues with low water pressure, maybe because of scaling pipes and things like that. Those are gonna be more expensive to do street rehabilitations, but if we have some where we historically have low water pressure, that might be something to tackle too, because I wouldn't kill 2 birds with 1 stone, even though I realize it's expensive.
Yeah, this is just this year's priorities. We have a lot to discuss for 18 coming up in the next few weeks. So, long-range priorities, I won't go over the details. Any ongoing, I look at these every month to stay on top of what I can. Talking to David about kind of equipment replacement. We talked about the backhoe, the street sweeper, and the grader. Those are 3 items we discussed in budget. Now that we have streets probably better than they've been for a long time, I'm looking at a different street sweeper. David wants a backhoe, so those are things we need to talk about. And then finally, that 3rd page, specific projects. We went over some of them. Our street projects are done. Our project we're about to do, just a small one this year. Water supply plan should be coming in any time this month. Our park improvements, we pretty much talked about earlier tonight with the basketball court and some landscaping. The senior center we already talked about. Storage in the police department, I still want to incorporate that into our site plan. It needs to be part of our overall facility plan.
Where were you planning on?
It needs to be inside an enclosed fence. Right now, there's not room in the public works yard to put another shed for police storage.
Enclosed fence, that one we just approved, does not qualify?
No, so that's enclosing the Aspen Department, so it's not doing anything for us, you know.
If we built a police barn or like a car barn and incorporated that into that, would that be an acceptable solution?
As long as it's secured properly, they probably put a camera on it. Because it's mostly for, due to legislation, we have to keep certain drug items throughout court. We have larger items that can't be brought into town hall. A couple years ago, they tried to bring in some drug items, and it didn't last 2 hours. The whole building was reeking, so we had to get it out. But larger items for stolen property, we have to store. Once in a while, part of the improvements for town hall, we'll talk about in more detail. It's not just a storage shed, but a shed big enough where you can actually park a vehicle. We're spending too much money over the years when we impound a stolen vehicle. We can't keep it here. We can't guarantee securement, so we have to tow it. So if we have a facility that's fenced in, we can secure with a camera on, we can legally keep it here, and then we're saving all those costs for towing all the time, and manpower and time. So that's just one example.
Does that occur frequently enough to justify that?
It goes in spurts.
Over a period of time, I think it's justified.
I bet we have about at least one a year, sometimes up to 5 a year, it just depends.
Wow. What do you think expensive?
Yeah.
Troy, the double chip still, they gonna put that second coat on here?
This month.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna double chip all of division from Grand to 66, and then that portion of Goodrich up
Up to River?
to River.
Okay.
Yeah, that's still part of the bid, or part of the contract we have to do. So I'm going through this fairly quick. Like I said, I wanted to talk about the details of the whole lot. I just wanted to get information in front of you to absorb so we can have more detailed conversations later. Now, on the budget worksheet, this is the printout of simply the revenue portion only, so no expenditures. And I'll go over these in categories on the big 11 by 17. Our revenues, some are pretty concrete, some are based upon annual analysis. You have to look at your history. Property taxes came in, our assessments didn't come in as high as I thought they'd be. They only raised about $20,000. So, over 18.64 mils, 1 mil goes to the library, so our portion, we're only going to increase our property tax by about $15,000 to $15,000.
With the assessments going up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Something doesn't make sense. What did the state grab now?
I don't have the breakout yet, I just have the initial one-page assess sheet, and the valuations, the total valuations only went up, I think, $3 million.
And there aren't just that many appeals.
Mine went up a bunch.
Yeah, something
Well-
doesn't seem
Yeah,
right.
because
Yeah.
that's like,
Part,
yeah.
part of it is oil and gas is not going up yet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Our assessments between 2 years ago where we received $1 million, and this year where we're receiving $650, residential, commercial, industrial stayed the same. Oil and gas assessments went down. So until they start drilling again at a high capacity, that's what's going to affect us.
I'm really surprised that our industrial properties, now, we're not waiting to get more of those properties online, are we? Everything
As long as, you know,
is now, the 18 months has expired, and we're getting, see, I would've thought those would've went up significantly, I'm sort of surprised.
those buildings out there have been built well over 2 years ago, almost 3. Some,
Right.
Anadarko was good 4 years. 2013. And then Ready Services came in, and Roberts came in.
Time
Now,
flies.
Willow Creek's, they're not building, but they're doing the site plan next 6 months. They've only got 3, which is next to Anadarko. And we're working on the Cass's property north of Anadarko. Those are site plans we're running review. But, are there gonna be huge impacts? Probably not, to be honest with you. We're not, Platteville's not diversified enough on the revenue streams. On our taxes, our big ones are property tax and our sales tax. The rest of it, it's kind of a guessing game. You know, you get your electric, your telephone, your occupation, that's, electric and gas come in pretty decent, 3rd and 4th, but otherwise it's property and sales tax. Then, internally, you have your licenses and your permits, you know, your dog license, your business license, building permits. They don't generate a tremendous amount, maybe 50,000 annually. Intergovernmental, those are the things, those are the numbers I wait for. County road and bridge, those are fixed numbers that we get. Highway user tax funds going up next year, you know, about 15,000, so that helps. The oil and gas, I was estimating getting in 40,000 based upon what I was told. The check came in yesterday at 29,000.
Oh, my gosh.
Ouch.
Yep. So,
Well, that's because they keep reformulating everything.
came in 11,000 under budget.
Yeah.
Mineral lease is doing pretty good. That's actually higher than budgeted. So, at the end, we'll actually probably have a little bit more than we anticipated in revenue. Charges for services, you can see everything from rec donations to court costs and police, ball field rentals. We bill back admin fees to the water and sewer funds, to libraries, and cemetery for administrative costs. Those are the 4 we bill back to. So library, cemetery, water and sewer are the admin fees. we allocate back to, we charge them. Refuse is a big one, it's just a pass-through. Street lighting is a big one, it's a pass-through. So there's big numbers, but about half of this is pass-through. So we bring in around 17,000 rec fees in the rec department, it costs about $100,000 a month. So, fines and forfeits, which is mainly the police department, court. I'm on top of Carl, we might meet budget, but I'm lowballing it a little bit, because he's been short the last few months. I talked to Officer Bonner on Sunday, he stopped by my house. He couldn't write any speeding tickets, he had 11 calls that day, just paperwork. He said, how do I go out there and write speeding tickets? I have reports that are due by Monday, or Tuesday, and it just depends, you know, so, fines are your court costs, or your court fines that come in. So if somebody gets a speeding ticket for $100, there's a fine, and then on top of it, it's 37% surcharge. That 37%, so $37 of 100 will go to a law enforcement equipment training fund, which is a special revenue. So these are just court fines. Then every county has its own type of miscellaneous revenue. The biggest ones are the SRO contractor services and the Gilchrist law enforcement contractor services. That makes them the majority of this one. Royalties, we get a little bit. Otherwise, they're pretty small amounts across the board in miscellaneous. We are breaking out the miscellaneous revenues by admin, police, public works, and next year we'll add seniors, so we can track better the senior donations annually that come in. We track them now, it's just not specific on this budget, but we have it. We move that money into Colorado Trust, so it's in its own little fund. So, grants, we don't get a whole lot. At the bottom of the page and top of the next page, actually just flip it over. The main grant we get is the annual United Way grant for scholarships for the rec department, usually around $3,000.
Time's up.
Time's up, you're right. I'm about that too. Otherwise, get grants for, usually the grants are allocated like street grants, like DOLA, they're put in like a capital improvement fund or a special revenue fund. The sidewalk grants we received from CDOT, those are not here in the years past. Then the special revenue funds, we track them differently. Other revenue, we have bill backs that we start tracking for engineering, legal, planning. A little bit for David Jensen on West Farms, and so does Ryan Harding up on Camera 38. They pay a little bit to help offset just basic costs, but as you can see, that's nothing. That's not enough to do pothole repair. And that basically covers the cost of mowing ditches each year. So I'm trying hard to find other revenue sources for the town of Buckle. Part of that is to attract higher revenue generating business. Based upon the population, you don't have the workforce for anything big scale. So based upon the population, it's hard to attract smaller scale mom and pop businesses that'll survive. So that's a discussion we need to have, but I want to give you an opportunity to just dwell on this for a couple of weeks before we start diving into this in a lot of detail. Because in years past, we present it, we talk about it right away. I don't think that's fair. That's why I'm starting early this time. But if you look at the bottom number, this is very rough because our year-to-date, if you look on your first sheet, you have 2016 actual first column, year-to-date for this year. That's where we're at so far. And David Green's going to come in Friday to do August. This is as of July, okay? So 7 months of the year. Projected is what I'm working on. What David Green does is he puts in a formula that just calculates out the projections in each line item based upon percentages. It doesn't work that way. I have to go, and that's why you see all the highlights. I go through there, and like I talked to Carl.
done.
If he budgets $7,000, he spent $6,000, he's not gonna spend $13,000, he's pretty well done. So I have to change those numbers. So it affects that.
Now, as far as total revenue funds available,
Mm-hmm.
now, the funds that we've earmarked, for instance, we set aside for the sewer, lagoon, that type of stuff, are they in that, or have they been taken out of that?
The answer is it depends. In Colorado Trust, I didn't make a copy of this, but I'll pass it around. Colorado Trust has the earmarked money for downtown, the sewer lagoon, the library, so forth. If it's earmarked out of the general fund, it's part of Colorado Trust and it's part of this money.
Part of that.
Sewer lagoon is not, water fund is not, the library is not. That's all in the special revenue,
So that's been added into this?
part of it. So in this, I'm gonna pass this around. Cash that's not allocated in Colorado Trust's general fund, $585,000. So we have a cash flow of over $500,000. Everything else is earmarked. I'll pass that around. And I can give you copies of that every time we do financials as well. So there's $5 million in Colorado Trust, give or take. Part of that is this $2 million, about $1.5 million, Mike, this is part of that. But a lot of that's special revenue funds, Veteran Memorial, use tax, Colorado Trust, or Conservation Trust. The library's a big one, they got several million. Then we have our earmarks for the fire station purchase, downtown revitalization, the sewer lagoon, the senior center. That's all in the Colorado Trust. So I'd say of this starting balance is around $2 million. Starting balance. But that's gonna change. I need 3 more months of revenues and expenditures. We're way too early for that. But we can still estimate revenues though, because revenues are easier to manage. But your fund balance is gonna be a little different. It'll change. But the good thing is your big projects for the year have been spent. Your big checks, Mayor, that you write for 200, other than the library, for 150, 200,000, 300,000, those are pretty well done.
Can we trade with the library?
It's pretty much just operational costs now. So, but when we meet next week, we'll have the projector back up, we'll have it on the big board. And then, as we go through, like starting with David's items, those will be detailed discussions, a little more involved with line items. Some will be basic, but if you budget 40,000 for something and you decide, well, that needs to be 50 or 30, I can change it right then and there. So,
The sewer is 165.
the sewer? What do you mean it's 165?
What says it there? We were talking this morning.
On the reserves?
On the earmark.
Well, there's several sewers, so I need to look at that.
Okay. Because I didn't think we had over 2, because I didn't know if we had put in every year. I know we try to, we strive to.
We just try,
It gets so drawn out.
We just started with the budget.
Sewer lagoon reserve, 246.
Yeah.
Okay, then I stand corrected.
There's
I
all-
saw 165 on the face page.
Yeah, the front page, they have that 165 sewer fund, the sewer reserve.
That's your cash balance in the sewer.
Okay.
Then you also have sewer investment fees, water investment fees.
Right, yes.
And those monies can be used for the new sewer lagoon.
Right.
So right now, you have over $500,000 that's not tied up. That's, like David said, it's $7 million. You can't complain, it's nothing. So his comment today is, he says, unless we can get 10 to 15 years life out of this and put $250,000 aside every year, you're gonna have to get a bond or a grant. And I agree with it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to fund that.
Even if we had all of it, we should still shoot for a grant.
At least a grant.
Well, yeah.
The older grants will go up to $2 million over. And that's a 50-50 match.
Isn't there federal money out there? Didn't somebody say there was federal money out there?
USDA, but from my understanding, the federal administration just cut funds to the USDA.
Well, don't believe everything you watch on the news. Just saying.
But, when I was doing the seniors, Steve, you and I, and Marie was doing the senior one, I was surprised how many, there's a little mountain town that they went over to pay for a whole new water system. And the town did not charge any of the residents any water fees.
Well, they don't have, they were selling irrigation water to the farmers, using potable water for irrigation, no meter, just a flat fee.
Flatten it out.
And they wanted DOLA to build a 6-mile transportation line for water. I don't think DOLA gave it to them.
I think that, yeah, DOLA, they were kind of casting a jaundiced eye on that. I hope so.
So this is really the information, just a quick half hour, to try to get the ball going. Yes, I want you to be as prepared as possible as we go into. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with is 2018 budget items. I'm putting when we meet again, I'm going to have a list. We have a $750,000 12-inch water line discussion. You know, we have $400,000 Grand Avenue improvement, because we're doing it in phases. You know, we have a $350,000 sewer screening plan. So the water line screening plan, I can write grants for it. Probably tier 1, which would be administrative. Tier 2, I have to go present to the committee. Tier 1, they'll give us up to $200,000 match. So the screening plan could be a tier 1. The water line would have to be a tier 2. And if we could get 50% of that, we'd be lucky, but I don't think it's coming out of the sewer fund. I told David there's no money in the sewer fund for that. You have to do capital improvement fund. You have to use your cash reserve, your $225,000 cash reserve. So use that money to match your storm, your screening device at the sewer. Those are things we need to talk about. So, and there's many, many other 2018 projects, trust me.
See, now we can all get our depression out of the way early.
The swimming pool, the splash park.
Well, there's
a question, Troy.
Sure.
Why, or please explain to me, why the library fund has $1.75 million in cash?
They have to find ways to spend money. This is special revenue from the High Plains Library District. They get money from their own property assessment through the High Plains Library District.
We
So
have a
it's not money
special,
that's coming out of the town's budget to go there?
No.
Our contract with the district is, when they formed this library, of our 18.365 mills, when the money comes in, we give them a 1 mill levy worth of money. So in the budget, you'll see the town will get $650,000 in property tax, the library district will get like $17,000. That comes from the town. All that other money comes from the High Plains Library District.
In which they're earning 1/10 of 1% interest on their $1.75 million. That's pretty anemic. But if it doesn't affect the town, I guess that's just a good point.
we've got a very rich library.
But if I had $1.75 million and was getting 17